bad day, I hate going shopping because I know I'll just put it back on the shelf or in the freezer, and my daughter goes to me, "What's that? I can't bloody open it." Well, I'll come round and do it. And she does, bless her. She'll come around twice a day, normally. Or she'll ring me and say, "Do you need me to come around to open anything?" And luckily she's only 5 minutes down the road. But if she'd lived further, I would be stuck.
I must spend more time picking stuff up than I do actually using the thing that I've picked up to try and the use that I want to use it for. Getting ready in the morning, I mean, this morning is a prime example. I've got the shower head. It's quite a big shower head and it's hard for me to hold it.
If my husband wasn't the sort of man he is, where he would just say, "We'll leave it and I'll do it," then I would be in a lot more trouble, I think. Making the bed, we do it together because it's easier for me, or he does it. So the general things around the home. And he does all the cooking. If I had to do all the cooking, I'd probably lose a lot of weight because I wouldn't eat anything.
When you go to things like opening a jar or something like that, you sometimes kind of forget and you go to do it, and it's not that I can't do it, it's just it causes discomfort, and if it's particularly hard or particularly takes a lot of effort, it is actually quite painful. So I've just got into the habit of either using my left hand or holding it against me, so that and various techniques that you develop just to make it easier, really.
The lids do go for some reason. There's sort of ferocious gravity occasionally that just takes over, and I don't know what that's about, dropping things, but I think that it's just, again, it's something that happens. Very annoying, especially. Have you noticed that things, when they drop, they don't just bounce and you can see them, they absolutely disappear.
It's the most, it's the most tiniest, and you're trying to get that in there. You've got to hold that back and get the thing in. That is another frustrating thing.
Sometimes if I've gone working or things like that, when I did do little jobs and stuff, in the evening it would start aching, and then I'll put stuff on it, just ease it off.
I've got a Henry and I've got that, but it hurts my hand if I do too much hoovering. I mean, I used to hoover every day at one point. I don't now. I hoover every other day because that hurts there. The pressure and pulling it backwards and forwards.
It's a sort of dull ache, which is just always there, and it's mostly the joints, and when it's bad, it's very painful, and that's when I resort to the things like Voltarol and maybe ibuprofen or whatever, because I believe that is an anti-inflammatory. So and as I said, it's worse when it's cold, and I'm trying to do something. I was thinking about the car, actually. If I have to open the cap on the water, or change the water in the spray, that's quite challenging. You take one of those little plastic gloves, and then you have to use something, a padding thing, and then press and turn to get the radiator cap off.
I'll only drive sort of to Felton, or I'll go to Hamworth. A 5-mile radius is all I'll drive because I get uncomfortable in the car.
I can't even get out the bath now, because of my back, so I have to shower. It's just hard. But what can you do? Arthritis is arthritis. It's not going to, once you get it, it's not going to go away.
If I'm from the bike for any sort of length of time, I don't know whether it's. I don't think it's the actual position of the handlebars. So I've had races and I've had sort of like straight bars as well, and using both, in whichever position, always get the pain in the wrist, both wrist areas from the vibration.
I can't pick up my grandchildren now. No, like when we had the other ones. So we've got 3 boys at 11, and when they were all younger, I didn't have that problem. You know, I could pick them up and sort of not really think about it. But now I have to say to them, like, you know, you're too heavy for me to pick you up now. And one of them's only 2, you know, the younger ones. So I feel that's a bit sad when I can't do that.
I wouldn't choose to do it, but like writing letters, I can't. On a good day, if it starts off neat, you'll end up not being able to read it because it does hurt. Aches. It's like a permanent nagging toothache. And some days it gets worse and other days it doesn't. It does get you down because people can't see why you're going, oh, and they think, look at her. But they can't see your pain, you can't see pain. Well, at the moment, any pressure on this hand hurts. Well, this finger and this thumb. I mean, I can't bend the thumb at the moment, more than that. This finger, I've just started to bend it down to that right there, but I can't straighten this. If I straighten it, it could bend it the other way.
You know, how bad are your hands going to get? You know, I'm still sort of quite young and already they're like this and it's affecting me like this. So, you know, you see these poor little old ladies faffing at the till and people getting impatient with them. I am very aware now that little lady could be me in years to come. So, you know, she's like, oh sorry dear, my fingers don't work. You know, that's in my mind now.
It's something that is going to get worse. And so I really need to think about what to do about it in the long term, because I hadn't really thought about it. But I realise that it has been incremental, and it isn't getting any better, and isn't going to disappear.
Grip, holding stuff. I mean, I've got this for my thumb. It's a thumb splint, but I can't use it when I'm driving. So it only gets worn indoors. I definitely wear it when I'm doing housework, because if you knock it, by God, it hurts.
If you're buying something when you're out that you need to use while you're out, I have in the past had to take what I've purchased to the customer service desk and say, can you open this for me, please? And they've had to cut it open for me. So, you know, that's a little bit embarrassing, if I'm honest.
It's like to clean my windows is very hard now because it hurts my hands. I can do a little bit, but I can't do them like I used to. You know, like the cleaning, then I'd buff them up with Windoline or vinegar. I just can't do what I used to do, you know. It's just hard because my hands, you know, they hurt so much all the time. I get a bit depressed because I get a bit frustrated when I can't do these things, you know. Even like with curtains and things, if I wanted to unhook them and, you know, everything would take me twice as long, so I'd get frustrated.
You get nervous and you get conscious, and you know, you think, oh, and you know you're going to drop it then, and then somebody else is like, you know, whatever. But you know, you get on with it. Don't get me wrong; it's just part of life. But it is frustrating. It is annoying. I mean, it will never stop me. Never stop me doing what I want to do and what I love doing. You know, my horses and etc. etc. But it just makes it more of a challenge and more difficult.
I make myself a challenge because I don't like sitting around. I can't sit around. I've been too active all my life.
Most of my friends don't have these little worries because they're 6 feet under, you know. So you've got to think, well, at least I'm breathing.
It's not a great deal of pain, and I don't get it all the time, and there's a lot of people worse off than I am, and you know, I just think myself lucky that this is probably, you know, hopefully the worst thing that's going to happen to me until the day I die. So you know, it's just one of those things.
It's never a great thing when you have to ask someone to do something for you because you can't physically do it. But because I've sort of had this really since my late 20s. It's just become part of life.
They say that you can just tear this, yeah. Well, I can't tear that. There's no way. I can't grip that for a start. That's not happening. Do you know what I mean? It's just not happening. It had to be a scissor job.
Yeah.
It's taking that bloody liver off because it's one of them sealed ones.
Okay.
I really have to. The other week I done it. I've gone like this because I like cream coffee. Right? I'm going like that and because it come out quick. All the coffee went on the floor.
They're quite a thick packaging,
Mm.
so that's harder to get into. Because sometimes if I pet bend too much, I break the tablet and it flies somewhere.
What they do is they have these things on them, which you have to move first before you can do it. I really struggle with those.
Mm.
And once they're off, it's not so bad because then you can
And that's the initial break.
you can just lift it up. But before that, it's really hard to do.
Got scissors to hand, you see, for opening things, and this is my most useful implement.
So, yeah, show
That you can grip and turn just about anything. You know, it's very easy, and you just hold the bottle and do that, and it'll come loose.
Right, washing up liquid. I can only buy this size washing up liquid. The pure reason being, when it's a big one, I cannot squeeze. I can't squeeze it.
That's for jars
Right.
that you pull around. Obviously, it's not for massive big jars, but for everyday jars.
The reason I buy the cheap sauces is because it's in a thinner packaging. You buy Heinz, it's in a really thick plastic. You can't squeeze it.
If it comes a can, because all the cans are outside, you literally just pull it under there, press it down, and then you can let go of it. It just opens it, and when it's finished, that just goes pop.
Yeah, they call it batter, obviously. Because then I don't have to use the kettle. And this is brilliant because all you do is sort of get hot water like that. So it's like automatic hot water. So that's just makes life so much easier.
But what it is, whatever lid it fits, you know, she can open.
Yeah.
That's what it gets. And the smaller like stuff.
When my fingers are really bad, doing your code and stuff like that, I've created a shortcut on it now that I can just go to Zoom or go to whatever.
This is the one I tend to use the most, and it's, you know, again, it's not, you don't have to apply a great deal of grip, you know what I mean, as long as you've got it sort of, the knife really does the work.
What I do, in the door,
Do we need to be the other side?
put it in there, and then turn it. Tighten the door up until you see it move, then you open it.
You can grip it in there and then twist it open.
I wish I had my pills were in something like that,
Why is that?
because it's so easy.
I like this one, just simply because I think of all of them, it is by far the easiest to open, and also I'm quite into the whole retro thing, so I quite like that.
Yeah, I think this one is I'd feel it was secure at least because of the way it clicks on. I like that one as well.
The liquid.
I like the liquid one. I like the pad on the top. But it might be, if it's liquid, it might start going everywhere. And gel, at least you know it's going to be going in as opposed to that could probably drip everywhere.
Yeah. So how do you find?
That wasn't too. Although I'm squeezing it with my thumb,
Yeah.
I didn't have to use a lot of
Yeah.
hardly anything at all.
It's just come off easy, and the size is quite nice.